Welcome to Coach's Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi, and welcome our guest, Butler High School wrestling coach Scott Stoner. Scott, congratulations. So many firsts this year for you. The first time in 30 years you beat NA in wrestling, and your first ever section championship. We joked a week ago that you're like Moses wandering the desert. Now you found the promised land. 19-1 on the season, ranked number 6 by the Trib. You were number 2, 1 loss. They dropped you 5. I don't understand that. So how gratifying was it for you to finally, after all your years of hard work, over 400 dual wins, to finally reach the pinnacle in the section, the toughest wrestling section in the area?
Well, again, first of all, going into it, starting this back in '93, it was always my goal to win section titles and things like that. And to be honest with you, after 30 years, you'd think I'd have won a couple more. But for those people who don't know it, this is the most wrestling-rich tradition in the whole country, the WPIL. Every year, there's more Division I All-Americans at the collegiate level. Kids are gone on from high school, Pennsylvania native schools, that become All-Americans than anywhere else. One year, I think there were 4 national champs coming out of our region that all wrestled in my gym at the intermediate.
Yeah, and you look at all the great wrestlers that come out of NA, and Seneca Valley won a couple of WPL championships, and they have wrestlers all over the place. And NA's 8-4 this year, and it's like they're having a terrible year. So you know firsthand the quality of competition. So let's go to that big win you had. You clinched the section title with a 36-30 win over Pine Richland. They're pretty good too. And then let's go back to that 29-23 win over North Allegheny in the last matchup of the evening you needed to win. Looked like you had it wrapped up. They won, 3 or 4
in a row, And we knew it might go that way. So,
but you had a pretty good idea going into the last one that your guy was better than their guy.
They had gone 1-1 the year before.
Oh, had they? Okay.
Yeah, and my guy Gavin Rush, if you'd look at it and try to pick him out as a wrestler in a crowd, he wouldn't pick him first. He doesn't have the build, the body style, and he's very unorthodox. And he just basically went out and turned the kid back and forth, over and over and over. And to the joy of our team, iced the victory for us. But he's been tough for us all year, and just a scrappy kind of kid that who doesn't look like that wrestler. That just great performance and a great thing for him. And he's really tough on top. We call him the backpack.
That had to be a great win for you, finally reaching that. That'd be exciting in the locker room after.
Over those years, as you said before, building this tradition, North Allegheny kids and Pine Richland and all these kids, they've had wrestling for a long, long time, and they have third-generation wrestlers. Grandpa was a wrestler, and these Canna McMillans and Trinities and things like that. And I go around my room. I just asked it the other day. I said, "How many of your dads ever wrestled?" And one guy raised his hand. So we're still pulling them out of gym class. The kids that wrestle from Butler are right from our GPS in the center of our wrestling room, which we have proudly on the back of our shirts, showing where we're from, our hometown. And we're in a lot of schools today. Kids are transferring in and out from different places and building teams. So my kids are all homegrown Butler kids. And
let's look at some of your wrestlers. I mean, you can bring up others. I'm just going to mention the 107-pound freshman Santino Sloboda. He's 28-0, and your 160-pound Levi Donald, who's 28-2. They're having fantastic years. I'm sure they're not the only ones. You kind of had to see this year coming for you with the talent you had coming back.
Yeah, and absolutely. A dual meet team, there's 13 weight classes, and when I started looking at the quality of kid we had at every weight class, I upped our schedule. We wrestled the Kiski duels at the beginning of the year with those kids, knowing that they were, you just didn't have 1 or 2 blue chip kids. You had some other really tough kids that really might emerge this year. And some of those kids have, like Gavin, Case Chop. Ethan Babay is a big story for us because he sat behind Jake Palmacata, our state qualifying heavyweight last year. If anybody knows Jake.
You have several kids with 12 wins, 20 wins,
25, Matt Zinkhan's up there, kid that we brought out for our elementary program. He has like 23. Mickey Cranebucker has been having a very good season despite some injuries he's been dealing with. Santino, obviously, everybody, if you've been in Butler and have seen the newspaper at all, he's been making headlines and press from day one, and just a very unorthodox, tough type kid that just has uncanny abilities. And coaching him has been challenging to keep him doing the things that he's doing, and then also developing some fundamentally strong collegiate type things that he's going to need at the next level down the road here.
So he's probably going to move up in weight class, like the Seneca Valley wrestler is now at Oklahoma.
Oh yeah,
Rondon.
yeah, Rondon. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw him actually when we
He
were
started like
right,
that light of weight,
right.
and then he moved up. Finished
Yeah.
at 140 pounds or
Yeah,
something.
that's always a thing too. The kids that start out really well in the lighter weight classes, as they move up into those man type weight classes where kids are physically developed, how do they make that transition? Can they still do the same things they did against the smaller, younger, less
Yeah,
mature?
that's a good
physically
point.
kids? Yeah.
When I look at the rankings, go Waynesburg's number one. They're 9-2, and some other teams are 6-1. You're 19-1.
Right.
How do you have so many more dual meets than these other teams?
Well, as I said before, when I saw the kind of quality we had as a lineup, I wanted to go after some of these team tournaments where you can wrestle 5 matches in one day. We leave at 5:30 in the morning. By the time we wrestle first match, it might be 8, 9, or 9 o'clock. By the time we get done, it might be 9:30 at night. That's what a day in a dual meet tournament's like. So we went to the Virginia National Duels in Hampton, Virginia, a
But you
couple
won.
weeks ago. Yeah, and we wrestled some tough Virginia schools, and upset maybe the defending champs that would have been a favorite at the end, Great Bridge, who has a tradition of winning state titles almost every year. And that was a great win for our kids. But these dual meet tournaments allow you to get multiple matches in one day, where an individualized tournament, your kid could lose twice and be out. Now he loses twice, we still have 3 duels, and that really helps to develop, get them extra mat time.
So how do you balance? You've had 20 dual meets. How do you balance that with your practice and trying to keep your team fresh for the up and coming playoffs?
I'll be honest with you, any wrestling coach is going to tell you it's a difficult thing to keep kids beating each other up physically for 2 hours a day minimum over the course of November and even the preseason through mid-March. I mean, it's the longest competitive season, especially if you have individuals. We try to break things up, but there's a grind that everyone says about embrace the grind, and those kids know that this is what the lifestyle of a wrestler's like, and we just try to keep pushing. I don't look too far down the road. I usually look at the next match and try to keep a perspective that to the kids so they focus on the goal at hand this week. So that's what we're doing right now, getting ready.
You know, I roomed with a wrestler at Slippery Rock. I'm playing football, so I'd come into the dorm room. I wanted to have pretzels, chips,
Yeah.
and he was miserable.
Well-
and he asked me at one point, could you not bring food into the room while I'm in wrestling season? He said, you're driving me crazy. And that's an aspect a lot of people don't realize.
Well, and I think today, without going into a lot of the detail, there's a weight management program that every kid in high school wrestling goes into at the beginning of the year. They check their body weight, they see what they weigh, and then they project through the athletic trainer to determine how much body fat, and they can only lose 1.5% of their body weight per week. And it's literally like you have a chart that you can watch where the kids are going. So that's really allowed us to get rid of a lot of the stigma where wrestlers are wearing rubber suits.
Yeah, and
cutting
steam
too
room,
light.
because
Yeah.
there was a situation years ago, it was a Big
Yep.
Ten school where a kid
Yeah,
died.
there were 3 that year in different levels of college wrestling, and that's what brought that on. It's a little easier now, Ed, because we don't have to deal with that as much.
Safety. And let me ask you about the playoffs coming up. You're going to have like a first round and a quarterfinals all on the same night. You're going to take on Peters Township at Butler. Hempfield's going to take on Trinity. If you beat Peters, then you meet the winner of them, and then
Right.
you advance to the semis.
Right. We've already beaten Peters earlier in a year, and that does by no means that we're going to beat them again. It was a close contested match. They have a young team of go-getters. We'll wrestle them on mat 1, and as you said, simultaneously Hempfield, who we beat also in an earlier in the year, they'll be wrestling Trinity on the other mat. The 2 winners then will break down, get rid of one mat, pull the other mat center stage, and basically what you have is 4 different sites where that's going on, and they'll whittle down a champion from each of those individual sites, and you'll have 4 people in the semis and the finals next Saturday.
And you're the highest ranked team.
We are third
And,
seed.
and
yeah.
so if you get past these two, you wrestle at a neutral site.
Yeah, it'll be actually Peters Township High School. They just built a beautiful new facility down there. Really nice state-of-the-art gymnasium. So a nice place to showcase great wrestling in the heart of the WPIL. So yeah, that's coming up, and it's more than anything, it's the most important part of our season right now. The one thing I will say is that honestly, there are every team can almost win it this year. We could go out and win by 1 and then get beat by 15 because of the way the matchups are. There's more parity now in the WPIL than there's ever been. There's usually a couple real dominant teams.
Well, it's a year first where you first win over North Allegheny, first section title, and now looking for your first ever WPL championship.
it'd be nice. I'm working at it every day, buddy.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. Good luck to you. Love to have you back here when you have that gold medal around you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks to everybody for our support.
You're welcome. I'll be right back with Ellen George.
Armstrong has a long history of fighting food insecurity in our communities through Breaking Bread events. Here's how you can help. Armstrong is celebrating Breaking Bread Day on Wednesday, March 8th. Visit your local Armstrong store to be part of the celebration. Drop off a non-perishable food donation and receive a special gift. Scan the QR code to find out more information. Visit armstrongonewire.com/breakingbread to find a list of community feeding programs in your area.
I am back, joined to my right by the Swami George Abraham, to my left the Tiger Albert Campman. Let's go to Spotlight, and we start with wrestling, just having had Butler High wrestling coach Scott Stoner on. Butler's 36-30 win over Pine Richland gave them the Section 2 3A title, the first ever in Butler history in 40 years of wrestling. They're 19-1. Now they go to compete for another first, looking for their first ever WPL championship after the first ever win over North Allegheny.
George told me he started that program up and told me how good Coach Stoner is, and George knows him personally, and Eddie, I know you know them. I just want people to realize how hard it is to win in that league.
Oh, against NA and Seneca Valley?
That's what I'm saying. So when you hear first, well, when you're playing great competition, it's not easy to win.
Yeah, and they had wrestling long before. The Augustino boys. I mean, you realize the
right, Gus.
lineage there. Yeah.
If they lost one dual meet in every 5 years or something, they maybe lost
I
one.
told Albert a story. His brother owned this restaurant up outside of Mercer, and you have to fight guys to pay the bill.
Yeah, Joda was his sister taught at Butler for 40 years.
Yeah.
Now they're looking, for a WPL championship.
Yeah,
It won't be easy.
No.
It won't be easy.
No.
But they're going to give it a shot. I'll tell you that.
Easy.
No. Hey, in swimming, Slippery Rock High School girls 7-0. Natalie Double. She won 2 events: the 50 and the 500 freestyle. And Ann Catherine Burns. She won the 200 individual medley and 100 backstroke in a win over Farrell. So there's another good swimming program that they have up there at the Rock.
Yeah, without a pool.
Without a pool. That's amazing, really.
Yeah, I would say you guys.
Well, Joe Ross
Same
healthy.
thing,
Joe Ross
Monaco.
healthy now again.
Is he?
So
I see that.
We'll be talking about him in the state finals again for sure.
And also in girls wrestling, Butler girls 87, Moon 45. Addison Vance, she won 3 events: 200 medley relay, 100 butterfly, 100 backstroke. Abigail Vance, I'm guessing they're sisters. 200 medley relay, 200 individual medley, and a 500 freestyle.
Yeah, no, once again, the kids win multiple events. You've seen it in the Olympics.
Yeah, you get 2 kids like that winning 6 events.
That'll do
You're
it.
going to have a pretty good team, right? A basketball top scores, boys, Tasso Safanos, Mars, 40 points in a 73-72 win over North Hills. First section loss for North Hills. Peter Kramer of Hampton, 30 points in an 83-70 win over Butler. But as you said,
83 points.
yeah, ineligible. Now, someone told me this. He went from
Shady side.
Okay, he goes, but if he had gone from Shady Side to Lincoln Park, he'd be eligible to play in the
No,
playoffs.
that's not true.
No, that's not true?
Not true at all.
Okay.
No.
All right, good. We
Yeah.
got that straightened
He's
out.
trying to deter some of that, figuring nobody would go there if they didn't want to play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
kind of thought private to private, they let him
No, they don't.
play. All right. Donovan Carney, Butler, 25. Skylar Roxbury, Union, Reimersburg, 25. Alan Grimes of Summit Academy, he had 25 and an 89-83 win over Aquinas Academy, despite 57 points from Vinny Cugini.
Vinny fires.
He shoots them
Vinny
up,
fires,
doesn't
and I know how Coach George plays. They play up and down without any thought of any.
Yeah.
he? This kid's been doing it for 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
He's
They
got to
fire
be one
away.
of the top.
He will be
all-time
the all-time
leading
scorer.
scorers.
He will
No,
be.
he's on
He
pace.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to Pitt Johnstown too. That's where he's going.
Good for him.
Rookie.
Yeah. Peyton Johnson, Union, Reimersburg, 23. Devin Koch, Mars, 23. Tyler Pepin of Seneca Valley, 22. Josh Gimbel, Pine Richland, 21. Braylon Littlejohn of Butler, 20. And Colin Castile of Butler, 20. For the girls, we saw Nina Shaw of Knock, 22. Ellison 7 of Seneca Valley, 22. Ava Walker of North Catholic, 21. We will see her this Saturday when North Catholic takes on Pine Richland. And Melena Desort of Freeport, she had 20. And college women hoops, Ashlyn Pry of BC3, they're 14-3. She's been named the National Junior College Division III Region 20 Player of the Month. Pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very
She's had some fantastic games. She just had a game where she had 35 points and 18 rebounds.
Yes.
And the BC3 men under first year coach Joe Lewandowski, they're 14-3, ranked 15th nationally in the junior college rankings. They'll be home twice this week to play. Kevon Price, 26 points in a recent win, 90-89 over Potomac on his buzzer beater. And Slippery Rock University basketball, Delia Gibson, Slippery Rock University, 25 points. They are 8-2, 6-7, but they beat IUP for the first time in 15 years after
I thought
30
it was
straight
20
losses.
Yeah, I thought it was 29 or 30 in a row. That's a nice win.
And Khalid Gates for the men had 25 points. The men are 12-7, 6-7, right on the cusp of making the playoffs.
Yeah, they beat Clarion Saturday, and
So they're 7-7 now.
Yeah, and they have Gannon this week, so they should. Gannon's winless.
Oh, but that'll help them get
Yeah,
into the top.
absolutely.
Hey, WPL wrestling rankings as we head into the WPL playoffs this week. Butler will be at home. They'll take on Peters Township. Hemphill will take on Trinity, and then the winners will meet right after that the same evening. Waynesburg's number 1, Butler's number 6, Trinity's number 7. Others contending. They say it's a down year. NA's 8-4, Pine Richland 5-1. The only dual losses to Butler. Bethel Park 6-2.
It'll be a tough one, a tough grind there.
Oh yeah,
So,
always.
yeah, huh?
And you get into that level.
Right. Yes.
I watched Penn State and Iowa the other night. My goodness.
5 players from Western Pennsylvania
Oh,
wrestling.
they're
That's
so-
what
they're so good.
Scott Stoner
They're so
said.
good.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, basketball rankings. We're just going to give the area teams and the top teams. 6A, number 1, Newcastle, and Butler is at number 4. Butler will be at Newcastle this week. Then Butler comes back home to take on Central Catholic, the number 3 ranked team. In 5A's, Penn Hills is at the top. Mars is number 4. In 4A, Lincoln Park only lost to Central Catholic. Hampton, 15-2. They're in 2nd. Mohawk, number 1 in 3A. Eden Christian, number 1 in 2A. Carn City moves up to number 5 in 2A. And in 1A, Union of Newcastle, still undefeated. They're number 1.
They got beat Saturday.
Did they get beat Saturday?
Sangamon Valley.
It wasn't in-
Sangamon Valley.
Okay, that wasn't in the paper
Yep, okay,
yesterday.
yes.
They probably missed
Just
on the
happened,
score.
right.
It just happened. And for the girls in 6A, moving into number 1, Upper St. Clair. NA moves into number 2 after their win over Norwin. Norwin drops to number 3. And moving into the top 5, the Butler girls 10-7. They have a very young team, 2 really good young girls playing for them. They're going to be a pretty good team next year. And in 5A, South Fayette at the top, Mars at number 4. And in 4A, Blackhawk remains at the top, North Catholic number 2. Knock moves into number 5 at 11-6. And of course, we're going to be at North Catholic this Saturday when they take on Pine Richland. In 3A, Laurel number 1. And in 2A, it's Greensburg Central Catholic. Monotol's moved up to number 3. They are 13-3. And in 1A, Union's at the top, Union of Newcastle, and Bishop Canavan at number 2.
Yeah, you hear some of the same names, boys and girls. That means that's a powerhouse year for them.
Yes, it is.
Uh-huh.
Hey, let's go to our stories of the week. NFL Conference Championships. And here's some breaking news. Those who thought they were watching the San Francisco-Philadelphia championship game actually we're watching a replay of Georgia TCU national championship game. Another blowout. I just don't. The vaunted San Francisco defense guys, it just didn't show up.
Well, I
But
saw
you give
that
credit
one.
to the Eagles, huh?
I see that one differently, Eddie.
Yeah.
You cannot play when you can't throw the ball. The injuries were that game.
Right.
Total. It was 7-7.
But their defense.
It was 7-7.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah,
they get
yeah.
3 and out, 3
Yeah,
and
I
out,
mean, it was,
3 and out.
they
at
gave the
some
ball
point.
back to them after
Yeah.
3 plays every
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
I've never seen that happen before, where a pro team could not.
Would not.
Right.
They could not.
Right.
They could not. The kid
Could
couldn't
not
throw-
or would not? Which
no,
one?
could not. Oh no,
Okay.
they would have thrown the ball. They could not.
Yeah.
They had no quarterback. They were the only pass they
Right.
tried was when they flipped the ball to
Yeah.
Cavity and threw the ball down the field like crazy. He couldn't throw the ball farther than 2 yards. He threw a little couple screen. Yeah, couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah, I was just surprised, and I give a lot of credit to the Eagles. A very physical team. How their offensive line, their
That's the
defensive
strength of their
line, the strength. But I just thought the 49ers defense would have been better.
They're on the field the whole game.
I really,
They're on the whole game.
yeah, I think you'd see if they could move the ball and get some rest and
Get
Oh,
a little
yeah.
rest.
change the
I've never
field
seen a game like
No,
that.
it was
and no chance.
What,
Team had
the
no
minute
chance.
he threw that ball,
The game was over.
No, absolutely.
It was done.
I was very happy, especially at the Eagles' first half.
Yeah,
I'm
really.
looking. I'm like, this is because sometimes you think the other team will come back. You never thought that.
There was no chance.
No. It was something. McCaffrey made that nice run. And you
That
thought,
was.
well, maybe this is going to be a decent game. And then after that, it all changed after the
Well,
injury.
if the young kid stayed in, they still
Yeah,
could have
he-
been in the game. I mean, the
Right,
fifth
right.
string quarterback.
Yeah.
But
Right.
once he went out, they couldn't throw the ball.
No, they were just.
It'd be like us three playing. And the ball.
I'll tell you. I'll bet this. The other kid never even practiced.
no.
During the
bet
week.
you not. No,
Didn't even
No,
take a
it
snap.
wouldn't have- We were talking about that. I think there's a tale there for every football coach. Like the last 10 minutes of practice, get your backup in there.
See, that's what's nice when you do have a veteran quarterback who's been around 9 or 10 years. He doesn't need that. He knows what's going on. He understands.
Yeah, but
it.
see, these
But a
guys are
younger kid-
egomaniacs. Peyton Manning would not let someone on the field. Like if they tried at the end to put the backup in, he'd send them
Well,
back.
same thing happened with the Steelers.
It's always
with
everywhere.
Roethlisberger.
It's all
Yeah.
throughout the league. No,
Yeah,
it's,
it's
the
the same
starter
thing.
stays in the whole game. Yeah, that's
No, but I'm talking about practice. They don't want to even give them.
Oh,
any
they don't do
practice.
practice.
No,
No, they don't
no,
get practice.
they don't want him to
That's the way
practice.
it's been.
either. Now, the Eagles in 2 playoff games, 38-7 over the Giants, and it's 31-7, 69-14.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that kind of dominance in the playoffs for a long time.
Yeah, it's just they played 2 weak teams.
Giants are the Giants.
No, they played the Giants, and San Francisco was worse than the Giants without a team.
Yeah.
Without their team.
But I thought, going back to that Giant, I thought it would be a better game than that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
got
see
to
a
admit that.
37
No, nobody saw
blowout.
that score, but I thought the Eagles would win easy.
All right, let's go to the AFC championship. The Chiefs 23-20 on Harrison Butker's 45-yard field goal with 3 seconds left. But the play before that, number 58, Joseph Osai of the Bengals,
Wow.
he hits Mahomes 5 yards out of bounds. Now, he knows Mahomes is going out of bounds to stop the clock. He's right there. He sees him goes out of bounds, but he wanted to get that lick in. He did. 15-yard penalty instead of overtime. They lose
You know what?
the game.
I'm gonna half stick up, not for that play, but in general. These guys sneaking on that sideline, sneaking the ball out, going 2 more yards, faking, not sliding. So if they're gonna do that, then they have to be expecting to get hit.
Well,
But
he was
out of
he was
bounds.
5 yards
Right,
out of bounds,
right.
and it was a flagrant
But he'll
hit.
start like he's going out and run 3 more yards and stick the
does
ball out.
The game turned around on one thing, and I'll say, George and I've said on our show, don't punt the ball down the middle of the field.
You can't
Absolutely.
If you punt the
I-
ball out
we've
of bounds,
said
the
that-
game goes overtime.
We've said that 100 times.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, the return
They're
said-
professional coaches. Say there's one way we could lose this game.
Yeah.
Punt the ball to the guy.
I know when we played Tony Dorsett in high school.
Don't punt it to
punt
him.
him the ball.
Yeah, no, it's
plain,
not-
plain and
no,
simple.
And the other thing too, I'll read at St. Vincent where they're golfing, and it really upsets me because they are professionals. They should be. Now it's not in high school. I get it. High school. You got some guy that might go sideways. In high school, okay, pro. That guy should be able to punt
Wherever
that
he
ball
wants it to
pretty
go.
close to
No,
where he
wherever he
wants
wants
it
it
to
they
go.
practice coffin corner kicks. They
No, there's no
practice
such
for
thing.
years
They haven't
anymore.
called-
They
they
do it
don't.
But I'm
anymore.
telling you that no one's right about that. That they would have held Kansas. They wouldn't even try to score.
No, they
would have
right.
ran the ball and went
there's no
overtime. Yes.
Now, 2 terrific quarterbacks. Mahomes playing with that high ankle sprain was terrific. Burrow, you thought it for a while there. Well, Kansas City's going to take over 13-3. Burrow brings them right back. Beautiful touchdown pass. What 2 great quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, are going to play a long time
Yeah.
going against each other. But let me say, the officiating, at some point, the officials took over the game. NFL receivers, you ever go into a knick-knack shop and they have signs up, look but don't touch. Receivers ought to be wearing signs like that, look
truth.
but don't touch. I
It's
mean,
the
any
truth.
more, there's more contact in a senior citizen dance at the
And they can do,
YMCA.
and the receiver can do anything.
Yeah.
Push
Any-
you down, go up with one hand, throw you. They don't call offensive ever.
Not as much.
No.
They do, but you can't even do
No,
this anymore.
no.
They were thrown
After
flags.
that game, there's a guarantee out there. They've been told they already do it for the Super Bowl. There's going to be no flags in the Super Bowl unless you line up offside.
There's your wager under the
no,
penalties.
it's a game. No, but it's even more
Yeah,
this year
yeah.
because after that last
Yeah, it
game,
was bad.
people are talking about it. It's going to go under.
So much for all that practicing preseason with boxing gloves on, so they
Yeah.
wouldn't do this.
All that do.
And
Yeah.
that really helped, didn't it?
Now they're getting a black eye.
This was really bad this time.
Because if you're a conspiracy theorist and you see that, what you're thinking, they're setting it up for Kansas City.
Well, here we go. The Super Bowl, Kansas City and Philly. The Kelsey brothers meet for Andy Reid. This win was his 21st. The Yoni Charles Belichick with 32 playoff wins. Andy Reid's fourth trip to the Super Bowl and the third for Kansas City in the last 4 years. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, you got the Mahomes on the offense. It was tremendous. And Jones is not recognized. He's right now.
Oh.
He's the best defensive lineman in football now. So he's passed up Darnold.
He's a
Darnold.
wrecking
Yeah,
ball.
no, they can't block him. That's what I said.
Huge,
so,
too.
No,
What is
he's
he,
like-
320
yeah,
pounds?
came from Mississippi State and dominant player. I mean,
Yeah.
they could not block him.
No, absolutely.
So, okay, 2 weeks away, so who do you like?
Philly. I'll have Philly.
Eagles are the better team.
Eagles are a better
Better
team.
team. I don't know what the line is. I'm guessing.
It came out. It's moved right.
4.5, 5, I'm
No,
guessing.
it came out -2, 49 now.
Only -2. They think they have that respect for Kansas
It went
City.
up past Kansas City. Went to favorite briefly.
They have that respect for
Yes.
Kansas City.
I'm
So I might be
going
wrong
to
on this
lean
one then.
towards Kansas City and Mahomes
I
because
like
he's been
that.
there before.
Good, good.
That experience, say what you want.
Absolutely.
Jalen Hurts' first Super Bowl game.
Absolutely.
We've seen this happen so many times. There's a big change, and you go into that game.
Absolutely.
Yes,
the
no
only thing
question.
Hurst has that. Hey, by the way, first time African American quarterbacks at the same Super Bowl started, so it's historical.
Yeah.
The other thing is with Hurst, he can tuck that down at any time,
He's
and
good.
that's the equalizer.
No question, he's good. But their running game, their offensive and defensive lines,
Oh, they hate on
second
pros.
to none.
No, absolutely.
Hey, around the NFL, fired Indy coach Frank Wright. He's named the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Fired Denver head coach Nathaniel Hackett. He's named the offensive coordinator for New York Jets. And Alabama offensive coordinator and former Houston Texans head coach Bill O'Brien, who won 4 division titles and 4 playoff wins with Houston. He's named the offensive coordinator for New England.
All retreads. That league is a retread around
Yeah.
the circle. I feel bad for Wilkes from Carolina. He did a good job. I have no idea what they looked at, why he didn't get rehired. Because I don't. Because Frank Reich, has he won something I don't know about?
No.
Yeah. Hey, if Buffalo had beaten Cincy, you'd have had that championship game in a neutral site.
Atlanta, yeah.
Okay, hold your breath. There's some scuttlebutt talk in the future. They may want to hold the AFC and NFC
I said
championship
that
games
weeks ago.
at neutral
hate that.
sites.
That's coming.
I hate that so
Okay,
bad.
well, it's going to come because they want to go to stadiums that hold at least 75,000.
Right.
They want more money, in other words.
Albert, it's always about the money.
What a joke.
The ticket prices will be Super Bowl like.
right.
The TV revenue and everything.
Oh, my.
And already
Oh, my.
expressing his displeasure is Art Rooney of the Steelers.
That's what you play football for, to get that Kansas City crowd. That's what
Yeah.
you play all year,
Yeah.
to have that crowd on your side.
Wow.
Now, Andy Reid had that 4 times at Philly and only got the Super Bowl once.
Yeah, is that
Cal,
something?
what? How many out of 5?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, that's it for us. We ran out of time. I want to talk about Pitt basketball. We'll catch up on that next week.
Some companies will tell you they have the best customer service.
No, I'm sorry. That's not a part of our policy. We can't really help you there.
Some companies will tell you they have the best technical support.
Yeah, let me just put you on with somebody from technical support right now. Please hold.
Technical support, how can I help you?
And some companies will tell you that your call is very important. Only Armstrong provides you with the customer service you deserve.
How do you choose the smart home and security system that's right for your family? The answer is Guardian Protection, a fully integrated system so that all your smart home and security devices work together, like smart locks, smart lights, doorbell cameras, video cameras, and more. And with advanced artificial intelligence technology, Guardian Protection creates a smarter, safer home for you, all controlled from one single app. The right choice for your family.